Hey everyone, my name is Chris Lambert, and on this channel we talk Kanye West. And today we are talking this exclusive from TMZ. Kanye West files to legally change his name. Just call me Ye, they casually add to the title. And we're going to get into not just this story, but you can see we have a number of tabs over here that we're going to talk about, as this actually dates back a number of years now and has been a bit in the making. So getting into the details of this, there's not much. You can see TMZ writing, Kanye is no more. That is, if he gets his way and a judge grants him an official name change. Kanye West just filed legal documents in Los Angeles asking a court to give him a new moniker in the books, going from Kanye Omari West to simply Ye. So you can see down here, present name Kanye Omari West, proposed name Ye. So he's having a Prince-like moment, right? A Diddy-like moment with just shortening down to something. But I feel like it's a little more meaningful than just branding. That it's getting at something maybe specific to this album release, as we'll get to in a second, but something that Kanye has kind of been thinking about for a number of years. So this isn't the first time he floated a name change. In 2019, he was at this Fast Company Innovation Festival where he was talking with Steve Smith, talking a lot about Yeezys and the success of Yeezy. But in the middle of this conversation, he started saying Martin Luther King didn't get killed because he had a dream. He had something else he was going to talk about. He talked about black empowerment, economic empowerment. When I did Forbes, I showed them an $890 million receipt, and they still didn't say billionaire. And that really bothered him. If you've been following Kanye for a number of years, and specifically following this channel and podcast, you know the drama that Kanye had with the title of billionaire and how much it bothered him in 2019 when he wasn't dubbed a billionaire, and then how big of a deal it was for him in 2020 when he finally got the title. But they don't want us to know that we can buy land. They don't want us to have the 100% ownership that I have at Yeezy. West continued, referring to his fashion line, which Forbes did estimate would top 1.5 billion this year. When people say it's crass to call yourself a billionaire, I say I might legally change my name to Christian Genius Billionaire Kanye West for a year. What was it? Until you all understand exactly what it is, it will be on the license plate, which is just such a Kanye line and very funny. And this is one of those instances you can imagine the headlines that came out of this. Even this headline, Kanye West wants to change his name to Christian Genius Billionaire, but the context is he's upset that people won't recognize he's a billionaire, so he just jokes about legally changing his name to Christian Genius Billionaire Kanye West for a year, right? Not for all time, but just for a year so people understand he's a billionaire. A little bit of exaggeration, though I'm sure a little bit serious as well, as Kanye really wants people to know he's a Christian, he's genius, he is a genius, and he's a billionaire. He didn't end up doing that, obviously, but even going beyond that, heading back to September 29th, 2018, so a year before that conversation, Kanye tweeted out, "The being formerly known as Kanye West, I am Ye." So a very declarative statement separating himself and who he was as Kanye West to being someone new, as in Ye. Right? And this preceded, or this was the, no, it didn't precede, it was the antecedent? No, I don't, no. What is the phrase? It followed, it followed. We'll just go with that. It followed Kanye's 2018 album, Ye. So he had a album called Ye, which was his nickname. And on the podcast, we have a full season going over the themes, meaning, nuance, narrative of this album. If you want to check that out on Apple, Spotify, Tidal, wherever you listen to podcasts. But we talked about the duality of that, especially with it being a lowercase y. They have the capital Y, but stylized in all lowercase. It gets at not only Ye, but also Ye as in the Old English you in terms of the collective, like Ye gathered here today. You all gathered here today. So it was this cool thing as Kanye in some ways broke down the ego, right? It's no longer the capital Y, it's lowercase y. It's no longer just about him, but it's about him and it's about people in general. There's a lot of like maturing that happens on this album, the second half, right? The first half, Kanye is kind of steeped in dark thoughts, but then the beautiful thoughts emerge in the latter portion of the album. It has a 3-1-3 structure. So 3 songs that are darkness, 1 song that's a pivot point, which is Wouldn't Leave, and then 3 songs that are the aftermath of that darkness, where Kanye is learning, growing, trying to be a better person, which is why the album ends with Violent Crimes. So he called this album Ye, already kind of identifying with the concept of being Ye. And then a couple months later tweets out, I am Ye. Like, I am not Kanye West, I am Ye. And even the lead, like the initial song on Ye is I Thought About Killing You. And in our season, we talk about how self-reflective this is. Like, people are wondering, like, oh, who is the you? Is he talking about someone else? And it's like, for the most part, he's probably having this moment of talking to himself, especially with the album cover saying, I hate being bipolar. It's awesome. With bipolar, they often talk about the dual personality, right? You have your mania, and then you have your down times, and it can feel like you're two different people, like, especially when that mania starts to happen and you start to ramp up. So Kanye starts with saying the most beautiful thoughts are always beside the darkest, which gives the context of the album structure. And even this song starts with dark thoughts and then starts escalating into music. So you have this second portion that becomes a little more musical than the first portion. And then the third portion becomes like actual rapping and actual song. So the dark thoughts on this song actually build up to music, which is really cool. But he says, today, I seriously thought about killing you. I contemplated premeditated murder, and I think about killing myself, and I love myself way more than I love you. So there's already this idea of like getting rid of the self, both in the physical sense, which is really scary, but also in this spiritual, mental sense of self-identity and fighting your identity and fighting who you are, which is also part of this idea of being bipolar and having this internal conflict about who you feel like you are at this time versus who you feel like you are at this other time. So Kanye is in some ways even getting at this notion of self in this song that we would see reflected in the album title that he then speaks on months later when he declares I am Ye, and that kind of follows this trail all the way up to 2021 with trying to legally change his name to Ye. And you can see Black Mass here, who has been giving insights into this last chapter, hopefully last chapter of the Donda album rollouts, and just kind of giving some insights based on what he knows, and then letting people know if this is something he's assuming versus something that he is kind of teasing or sharing because he can share. And in the wake of photos of Kanye saying Kanye West has legally filed to change his name to Ye, according to TMZ, Black Mass says he has finally healed. Changing the name his mom gave him for something new, signs of letting go and properly living. And you might be like, is that assuming a little bit much? And you might think that, but remember that Kanye had songs that were supposed to be on Yandhi called Slave Name and Last Name. And when you look at Last Name, you can see Kanye saying, giving up, I'm giving up my slave name. I'm giving up my slave name. Saint, you don't really need a last name. North, you don't really need a last name. So it's getting into this idea of name change, right? You can just be North. You can just be Saint. I don't have to be Kanye West. I can just be Kanye, or I can just be Ye. And this song first leaked in 2018? Yeah, because he was making it in 2018, right? But this was during the time where he tweeted, like, I'm now Ye. And then you have this other version, Slave Name, as well, which just kind of reinforces the same thing, just different aspects, but last name, slave name. And then on Chakras, which was another Yandhi song that ended up becoming Selah on Jesus is King, or Salah, however you want to say that, you can see down here, Kanye says, F a slave name, cop the whole game for 400 years, the prophecy. Oh no, I want to come up here. Kanye gave up the West, Kanye to Yeezy, maybe just Ye, 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 Ye. So he has this idea in this song of changing his name from like giving up the West to becoming Yeezy to just becoming Ye, Ye, Ye. Or just becoming Ye, right? He's not going to become Ye, 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 but I got the rhythm of this song stuck in my head. So this is something he has kind of been talking about across songs and across albums since 2018. And it feels like something that's kind of coming to the forefront with this Donda rollout. And we know from Black Mass and others that Kanye is building this like replica of his house from Chicago inside Soldier Field. So this is the house, but it's kind of done in a basic way. It's the same paint job. It's supposed to be similar, but it's not like an exact replica. And then they put this cross on it. And there's speculation that there might be some kind of closure to this in terms of a destruction of the house at the end of the show that leads in some ways to this idea of, okay, I'm putting to rest this chapter of my life finally. I finally worked through everything with my mom. I've worked through this part of my life. And from now on, I want to move forward as Ye. And Kanye West and everything that was part of Kanye West is now behind me. So cool. Like, I'm interested to see if this is connected because it is something that he's been working through musically for a number of years now. And it seems like something that he's finally enacting just actually publicly by formally changing his name. And then we're going to make a video going into Schenectady, New York, which I don't know how many of you have seen this movie. It's a crazy, wild movie. It's really intense emotionally and like thinking wise. It can hurt your brain. It's a Charlie Kaufman movie, but it's brilliant. And we're going to get into possible connections between that movie and what's going on here. So look forward to that video in just a little bit. But that's it for this one. If you are enjoying the channel and you want to support us, the easiest way is to like, subscribe, comment, as any of those things tell YouTube this is a channel people enjoy. So then they show it to others, which goes a long way in supporting us. We also have a membership option. If you want to throw a few dollars our way, you can look just below the video and see a join button. If you click that, you'll see a couple options to join as a member of the channel, and you get some perks for doing that. So thank you to all of you who have signed up for that so far. And we have our podcast, Watching the Throne, a lyrical analysis of Kanye West, which is the thing we are most well known for, which is our deep dives into Kanye songs and albums. As mentioned earlier, we go through the meanings, themes, concepts, narrative of every song and album in Kanye's discography. So if you want to know more about what's going on in Kanye's music, because you think this guy really is on another level, yes, we agree, and we will explain why. We have seasons on College Dropout, Late Registration, Graduation, 808s and Heartbreak, Ye, Kids See Ghosts, and Jesus is King, and we will start our season on Donda next week if it drops this week, and we are putting new episodes on YouTube. So you can find some recent ones on YouTube, but not the full thing. That's it. Until next time, stay wavy and keep it loopy. Cheers.